Hello friends, buckle up because this recap is about to pull you into a life that starts with love and ends in chaos. We're stepping into Philly's world, an 18-year-old orphan who carries an entire orphanage on her shoulders by sunrise, then races to a second job just to survive. She's kind, fearless, and stubborn in the best way, which is exactly why trouble finds her fast. One minute, she's celebrating a rare birthday surprise, and the next, she's thrown into a new school where 4 rich princes rule the halls like king. But the real twist comes when the man who wants to adopt her turns out to be their father. And suddenly, Philly is living under the same roof as the boys who hate her most. Secrets explode, jealousy turns vicious, and a shocking betrayal drags Philly into a danger far darker than school drama. So let's start, friends. Our series opens inside a tiny orphanage where an 18-year-old girl named Philly is already up and moving. It's barely morning, the kind of hour when most people are still half asleep, yet Philly moves like she's on a mission. She's learned that if she doesn't keep the day running, no one else will, and the little ones depend on her for everything. She sweeps, straightens the room, wipes down tables, and gently goes door to door waking the little kids. The children cling to her like she's their big sister, because she's always patient, warm, and protective. Before anyone can complain, she even cooks their favorite comfort food, simple fried rice, and makes sure everyone eats. She portions it carefully, making sure the smallest kids get the biggest bite, and she eats last, like it's normal. Philly rushes through the last of her chores, changes her clothes, and heads to greet the woman in charge, Ada. That's when we learn Philly isn't just an employee, she actually grew up in this very orphan. Even now, she's never been adopted, and she's never found her biological family, not even one. Sometimes she tells herself she's fine, but when the orphanage gets quiet at night, that unanswered questions still ache. With no time to breathe, Philly goes straight to her second job, waiting tables at a busy restaurant. She's late, so the manager chews her out and reminds that Johan, a famous lawyer, has been asking for her. Philly forces a smile, because Johan is polite, respectful, and he always requests her section. Compared to the customers who snap their fingers and treat her like furniture, Johan feels like one of the few adults who actually sees her. Johan tells her he's meeting a witness for a case right there in the restaurant. Philly, being Philly, jokes that he should switch up his hairstyle because he looks too stiff and official. She even matches color for his outfit, teasing that maybe his wife should have helped him pick a better look. Johan's face falls, and he quietly says his wife passed away, and he's raising 4 sons alone. You can hear how careful his voice is, like he's learned to keep grief tucked away so it doesn't spill in public. Philly immediately apologizes for crossing a line and hurries off to bring his order. But then her phone buzzes. The school scholarship she applied for just rejected her. It's the kind of message that turns the world gray in 1 second, because education was her only real doorway out. She barely has a second to feel the sting before the orphanage kids burst into the restaurant because it's her birthday. They sing for her, grinning ear to ear, and the whole place joins in clapping and cheering. For a moment, Philly forgets every bill, every late shift, every lonely birthday before this one, and she just smiles. Philly thanks them, but gently tells them they shouldn't have done this at her workplace. Her manager storms in mid-sentence, fury, yelling that the kids made a mess and demanding Philly throw them out. Before Philly can even respond, Johan stands up, smiles, and wishes her happy birthday. Then he looks the manager dead in the eyes and asks if she's really screaming at someone on her birthday. The manager instantly backpedals, laughs nervously, claims it was a joke, and suddenly wishes Philly a great year. Later that night, Johan drives Philly and the kids back to the orphanage. On the ride, he learns Philly is an orphan too, and the realization clearly hits. He doesn't say much, but his eyes soften, and Philly notices the way he looks at the kids like he's quietly measuring their lives. The next morning, Philly gets another message from the school, and this time, everything flipped. Her scholarship has been approved, and she's about to start at a top high school. She's even more excited when she learns her childhood friend Chloe, also raised at the orphanage, will be there too. Philly imagines the two of them laughing again like old times, sharing secrets, and finally not feeling alone in a new world. On her first day, Philly steps onto campus and immediately nearly gets hit by a car. She snaps at the driver, and we meet Raja, who's in the vehicle with 3 siblings, Joe, Helga, and Nefra. Before Raja can peel away, a student named Ha, the student council president, stops him and orders him to park properly. Ha warns Raja that if he doesn't move the car to the garage, he'll have it clamped and reported. Ha isn't shouting. He's calm, official, the kind of student leader who knows rules are power. Raja loses, revs the engine like he might run Ha over, then jumps out and gets in Ha's face. He threatens him coldly, saying if Ha ever talks to him like that again, he won't show mercy. The thread isn't just words, Raja's posture says. He's used to people stepping aside when he speaks. Philly rushes to Ha, checks if he's okay, and scolds Raja for acting like a bully. Raja fires back that she should stay out of it, but she clearly has no idea who. Philly doesn't blink. She grabs his key, tosses them to the ground, and walks away. She owns the place. It's a tiny act of rebellion, but the hallway goes quiet, and suddenly half the campus is watching. Ha thanks her, introduces himself, and becomes her very first friend at her new. When Philly enters class to introduce herself, she realizes both Raja and his brother Joe are in the same room. She's thrilled to see Chloe too, but something is off. Chloe keeps her face down, and when Philly tries to sit beside her, Chloe icily tells her not to. Chloe rushes to the bathroom, acting like Philly is a stranger. Philly swallows the hurt and quietly sits elsewhere. That's how she meets two girls named Shania and At lunch, Shania and Lynn explain that the four guys Philly clashed with are famous on campus. Everyone calls them the Four Princes because they're the richest boys in the entire school. Their last name is basically a brand here. Teachers tolerate them, students orbit them, and rumors trail behind them like perfume. Raja is the oldest, an influencer and car vlogger with his own garage, and almost every girl is obsessed. Joe is the quieter brother, known for his gorgeous singing voice and his love of music. The other two are twins, Helga and Nefu, though they don't look identical. Helga is the sharper, more intense twin, with long, silky hair and a reputation for living in video. Nefu is the friendlier, easygoing, social, and somehow connected. He remembers name, he cracks joke, and he can talk his way out of trouble with a grin that feels almost unfair. Shania and Lynn warn Philly not to clash with them again, because those four are not people you want as enemies. But Philly suddenly reaches for her neck and feels nothing. Her butterfly necklace is gone. It's the only thing she has from her real family, and losing it crushes her. Without it, she feels like she's losing the last thread tying her to the idea that she came from someone, that she mattered to someone. She starts searching the entire school, frantic, checking halls, stairs, and every corner. When she walks into the cafeteria, Helga strolls up and yanks the clip out of her hair. He tosses it to his brothers like it's a toy, and they throw it back and forth, laughing. Eventually, it lands in Chloe's hand, and we finally understand. Chloe likes Raja and wants to be his girlfriend. Then Chloe flings the clip upward, and Helga kicks it, shattering it into pieces. The snap of plastic sounds louder than it should, and Philly feels humiliated in a way she can't even explain. Chloe storms away, and Philly runs after her, confused, and she asks why Chloe is acting like that, because after years apart, she expected a hug, not hatred. Chloe's voice turns sharp. Yes, they were friends at the Orphan, but nobody at this school can ever know that. Chloe demands Philly pretend they don't know each other and never mention her past. Chloe's eyes are sharp, almost desperate, like she's terrified the truth could erase everything she's built at this school. She leaves Philly standing there, stunned and heart. Philly goes back to Ada and tells her everything. Ada insists something must be wrong, because the Chloe they knew would never be this cruel. Then Ada changes the subject and asks Philly to help in the kitchen. Important guests are coming, and Ada needs her. They finish preparing food, and when the guests arrive, Philly's jaw drops. It's Johan. Ada explains Johan is here because he wants to adopt Philly. Philly's mind races adopt, something she stopped expecting years ago, like a dream you learn not. Before anything else, Johan says he wants to introduce Philly to his 4 sons who would become her brother. Philly freezes when she realizes Johan's sons are the exact same 4 princes. The boys look just as shocked when they learn Philly is the girl their father plans to bring in the family. Raja immediately rejects it, saying he never agreed to adoption in the first place. And if the girl is Philly? Absolutely not. He storms outside and sits alone, simmering. But Philly follows him and notices he's holding her butterfly necklace, the one she lost. So he found it. Raja says he'll give it back on one condition. She goes inside and refuses the adoption. Philly returns inside and refuses, but not because of Raja. She overheard the brothers whispering about her background, and it cuts deep. She runs to her room, shaken, and Johan follows her talk privately. Johan explains his late wife always dreamed of having a daughter. Before she died, she made him promise that if she couldn't give him a daughter, he'd adopt one. Johan tells Philly he can't imagine a better choice than her. He asks her to live with him and the boys for 3 months as a trial. He calls it a test run, a chance to see if she fit, but he says it with a kindness that makes it sound like a promise. If she's unhappy, she can leave no strings, no guilt, no punishment. Philly agrees. The next day, she says goodbye to the orphan and to Ada, packs her small bag, and leaves with Johan. When she arrives, she can't believe her eyes. It's not a house, it's a mansion, full of staff and servants. The ceilings feel higher than her whole orphanage, and the silence is expensive, like every step costs money. Joe especially welcomes her warmly, shows her her room, and starts introducing her to the place. The next morning, Philly comes downstairs, greets Johan sweetly, and kisses his hand like he's truly her father. Johan Johan looks stunned because none of his sons have ever shown him affection like that. But the four princes assume Philly is performing, trying to win Johan over. Later, Johan tells Raja to drive Philly to school. Raja agrees then, right before they arrive, he kicks her out of the car. He doesn't want anyone seeing her connected to them. Philly ends up late, and to avoid missing class, she literally climbs school wall to get inside. Back at the mansion, Raja brags to the twins about what he's going to do. He cuts the electricity to Philly's room. He thinks it's a harmless prank, maybe a quick scare, but he has no idea he's pressing on something deeper than fear. The lights go out, and Philly screams in panic. She's terrified of the dark. Within seconds, she faints. The boys don't know the passcode to her door, so they can't get in. Thankfully, Joe shows up in time, opens the door, lifts Philly onto the bed, and tries to bring her back. When the power returns and the lights flick on, Philly wakes up and hugs Joe without thinking. Joe realizes her fear is severe enough to make her pass out. He doesn't laugh. He doesn't shrug it off. He looks genuine, like he finally understands she isn't playing. Joe orders his brothers to apologize. They do it, grudgingly, but they do it. Philly now understands she's living in a nightmare thanks to Raja and the Joe is the only one acting like a shield. One day at school, Philly bumps into a boy named Kai and spills the drink he's holding. She apologizes quickly, but Kai doesn't care. He raises his hand like he's about to slap her. Raja and the twins appear out of. Raja grabs Kai's wrist and dares to try it, knowing Kai can't stand against all four. Kai backs off instantly. Raja then scolds Philly, telling her she can't keep making enemies everywhere she goes. Philly wants to argue, but part of her knows right. She's surviving on stubborn courage, and that can't protect her. They won't always be around to stop people from coming after. Dealing with her is already more trouble than enough. Later, Raja and the twins confront Joe, telling him to stop being kind to Philly. Joe refuses. He says his kindness is his way of balancing out their. Raja calls Joe naive and claims Philly is only using Johan to get access to money. Philly hears it, storms in, and slaps Raja across. She calls him disgusting for thinking so low of her. Still, the words leave her feeling unwanted in that house. Joe finds her in the kitchen. He gently takes over, prepares it for her, and tells her not to let Raja's poison get into her heart. He says if she stays kind, his brothers will change slowly, one by one. Joe speaks like someone who believes people grow, and for Philly, that hope feels almost dangerous to accept. Philly realizes she's starting to like Joe, and that scares her. The next day, she decides to cook for everyone. She makes fried rice, the same dish the orphanage. The twins and Joe devour, swear it's the best fried rice they've ever had. Raja refuses to touch it. He claims it smells weird, but the truth is he hates that she's making the house warmer because warmth makes her harder to push out. When Johan tastes Philly's cooking at dinner, his pride in her grows even stronger. But the very next day at school, Raja acts like he can't stand her till he needs her homework to come. Philly refuses, and their back and forth turns into an unintentionally funny scene. Chloe sees them banter and jealousy lights. In the bathroom, Chloe corners Philly and says she's loved Raja for more than a year. Things were finally improving until Philly showed up. Chloe insults her brutally, calling her just an orphan girl and saying she'll never be good enough for Raja. Philly leaves shattered, barely believing those words came from someone she once loved, like family. The betrayal hurts worse than the insult, because it tells Philly that even a shared past can be rewritten by money and status. One afternoon, Philly finds Neferu in the kitchen, cooking because he's bored. She helps him and makes him her fried rice again. That same day, she discovers it's Johan's birthday. The chefs prepare a massive feast, and Philly eats happily till her skin starts itching easy. She's allergic to fish. She tells everyone not to worry. It's not contagious, but she'll itch for days. Still, comfort is miserable, and it's another reminder that she doesn't fully belong at tables like this. The next day, Raja comes home with allergy meds, only to find Philly asleep on the couch. He sighs, picks her up, and carries her to her room. But when he lays her down, she wakes up panicked, thinking he came with bad intention. Raja snaps that she should stop imagining garbage. He only moved her so she could rest. Philly fires back that nobody asked him for help and orders him out. Before leave, Raja tosses the medicine onto her bed and tells her to quit scratching like she's got. Later, the twins tease Raja for buying medicine, carrying her, acting protect. Even Raja catches himself smiling and wonders, against his will, if he's catching feeling. He hates the thought, because liking Philly means she's becoming important, and important people can hurt you. The following day, Raja offers to drive Philly to school again. Philly refuses and asks Joe instead. Joe gets flustered, especially with the twins mocking him. At school, Philly overhears a girl named Defina begging Kai to delete photos from his phone. Kai cruelly admits he's blackmailing her and says he'll leak everything to her family and the whole. Defina is so desperate she tries to jump off the school building. Students scream, Teachers run, and for one terrifying second, it feels like the whole campus is holding its breath. Philly rushes to stop her, and Raja, watching from a distance, also runs in. Together, they save Defina. But Defina, broken, still begs Kai for mercy. She even tries to kiss his hand. Kai laughs, humiliates her, and hits her. Raja luces control. He orders Philly to take Defina away. Then he beats Kai himself. Defina faints from stress and gets rushed to the hospital. That night, Philly can't stop thinking about Raja, about how fiercely he protected Defina. But the next day, the principal calls Raja into her office. Kai filed a complaint. Raja expects punishment, but Kai twists the story and claims Raja was the one blackmailing Defina. Raja insists Philly is the witness. Philly gets called in and tells the principal the truth. Raja tried to help, and Kai is the real predator. But Kai shows a chat where Defina, under pressure, writes that Raja threatened her. The principal suspends both Raja and Philly indefinitely until the school decides what to do. The punishment feels unfair, but the school cares more about quiet appearances than the messy truth. They have one move left: get Defina herself to confess. Philly visits Defina in the hospital and hears Kai's voice in the room. She quietly pulls out her phone and record. She captures Defina, begging him to stop, and Kai demanding she testify against Philly and Raja in exchange for deleting the photo. The next day, Kai gets summoned to the principal's office and walks straight into Philly and Raja holding the recording. Kai is suspended pending his family's decision. Defina finally gets a chance, though her shame doesn't disappear just because the bully got caught. After the win, Raja buys Philly a juice and takes a drive. Chloe sees them together and practically combusts with jealousy. Soon the school announces a field trip. Students will complete outdoor activities that count toward final grade. At the mansion, Philly finds Helga packing in total chaos, throwing clothes in random. She teases him and shows him how to fold properly. Helga pretends not to, but later helps, and even thanks. On the bus, Raja sees Ha sitting beside Philly. Jealous, he forces Ha to move and takes the seat next to her himself. Philly demands to know why, and Raja shrugs, saying she attracts trouble, so he has to watch her. At camp, boys and girls are separated, but Raja keeps hovering around Philly anyway. He pretends it's annoying, but his eyes track her automatically, like he's memorizing where she is at all times. At one point, he even has her feed till he replies to fans, acting like a celebrity. Everyone laughs, and Philly gets annoyed and storms off to sit with Joe. Philly shares a cabin with Shania, and they tease her, asking if she loves Joe or if Raja loves her. Philly denies both, insisting she'll never fall for either of them. She says it fast, too fast, like she's trying to convince herself more than anyone else. The next day, Raja tries to find Philly, but Chloe intercepts him and begs time to. Raja keeps walking, and when Chloe confronts him, he says coldly that he isn't ignoring her, he simply doesn't see her. He walks away, leaving Chloe humiliated. Later, Chloe visits Philly's cabin and apologizes for how she treated her. She admits she was terrified people would learn she grew up an orphan, and she wasn't brave like Philly. Philly forgives, calling her more than a friend, like a Then Chloe asks if Philly likes Joe, because the way she looks at him gives her away. Philly admits, shyly, she feels something, but she's terrified of rejection. Chloe pushes her to be brave, and even claims Raja likes her too. Philly takes the advice and sets up a romantic spot to confess to Joe. With shaking hands, she tells him she loves him. Joe apologizes and says he can't return it. She's like a sister to Philly runs away. She feels stupid for hoping, and even worse for letting herself believe she deserved something gentle. From a distance, Chloe secretly records everything, her revenge plan working perfect. Soon the video hits the school trip group. Everyone Raja sees it, explodes, and races to find Philly. He finds her crying alone, hugs tight, telling her to let it out. Later, Shania and Lynn reveal the truth. Someone filmed her and posted it. Ha eventually manages to delete the video from the group. To cheer Philly up, Raja rents a scooter and takes her to a quiet lakeside. He tells her, when he's overwhelmed, he comes to places like this and screams until the pain drains out. He convinces Philly to scream too. She yells that she'll find who posted the video, that she's brave, that she won't break. Little by little, she starts laughing again. The laughter is shaky at first, but it's real, and it reminds her she's still alive under all that embarrassment. Afterward, Raja buys her juice and asks about her life at the orphanage. Philly admits she was left there as a baby and her family never returned. Raja tells her she belongs with them now, she's family. Chloe plays innocent, comforting Philly and acting like she wants justice. Meanwhile, Raja confronts Joe. Does he really not love Philly? Joe says no. Raja answers bluntly, good, because I do. He says it like a challenge to the universe, like he's daring fate to argue with him. Joe wishes him luck and tells him to go slow. Philly is still fragile, but Philly can't even even look at Joe after the rejection. When Joe tries to help with her bags like always, she shuts him down coldly. That night, Neferu encourages Philly to at least hear Joe out. But everything gets worse and Philly learns the video spread onto TikTok. Distraught, she smashes something in her room. Raja hears the crash and rushes in, finding her sobbing. He tells her she's not alone, he'll stand beside her and it's done. He has her call Ha, who uses his hacking skills to trace sword. The truth hits like a punch. Chloe posted it both in the school group and on Philly's stomach drop. It isn't just cruelty, it's calculated, and that makes it feel even colder. Ha helps wipe it completely. Later, Philly gets a message from Joe inviting her to his room. She goes, and he sings a song for her lyrics about strength, healing, and finding happiness. He apologizes again and repeats that he loves her like a sister and wants her as his closest friend. Philly forgives him, admitting he really is her best friend. The next day, Ha corners. He says he has proof she leaked the video, and if she doesn't confess, he'll report her. Chloe agrees to confess to the principal. On Ha's advice, she records a public apology video to Philly, mirroring the humiliation she caused. The principal approved, and Ha uploads. For the first time, Chloe faces consequences that can't be smoothed over with a smile. Philly finally starts to breathe again. Chloe's reputation is destroyed at school, but she isn't done. Chloe approaches Ada at the orphanage, acting concerned. Ada, trusting her, shares details about Philly's adoption and path. Chloe takes the information to the prince's mansion, sneaks in, snaps photos of Philly with the brothers, and posts a vicious rumor. She frames it like a scandal, knowing people will click before they ever ask what's true. Philly is Johan's illegitimate daughter. When Raja sees it, he loses his mind and lashes out at her. He warns that if it's true, he'll never forgive her. The other brothers start doubting her too, because Johan adopting her so suddenly always felt suspicious. Philly's heart cracked. She tells them she was wrong to trust any of them. The rumor reaches Johan, and he's furious. His reputation is on the line. Philly, devastated, runs back to Ada and moves into the orphanage again. Returning feels like retreating, but it's also the only place where she isn't stared at like a headline. Then the story a man arrived claiming to be Philly's real father. He shows old photos of baby Philly with him and her mother. He says her mother was seriously ill, and he was too young and broke to raise Philly alone, so he left her at the orphanage. Her mother died soon after. He admits he never returned, but the news gave him the courage to step up now. He asks Philly to live with him. Philly studies his face, searching for familiarity, and finds none, only the promise of answers she's wanted her whole life. Philly hesitates, saying she needs time. Meanwhile, the princes confront Johan. He scoffs at them for believing the rumor. If she were my illegitimate child, he says, why would I wait years to claim her? He tells them he would have brought her home the moment passed. The brothers realize they failed Philly. Guilt eats at them. After a few days, Philly visits Raja's garage. She says she's not angry at the other. Then she reveals the truth. The man claiming to be her father came forward, and she decided to give him a chance. Raja is crushed, but hides it. He takes her back to the mansion pack. Philly says goodbye to Johan and the brothers. Johan looks heartbroken but stays dignified. Her father arrives and takes her away. After she's gone, the brothers sit together, and the twins tease Raja when he admits he's in love with her. The heartbreak on Raja's face is impossible. He jokes with his brother, but his voice is tighter, like every laugh's covered. At the man's villa, Philly is stunned. He's wealthy, living in luxury, and has prepared her favorite foods like he's known her forever. But something feels wrong, like a shadow in the air. The next morning, Johan privately tells his assistant to investigate the man. He says it's too convenient. Why show up now, after all these years, just because of a news? He always knew where the orphanage was. Encouraged by his brothers, Raja decides he's done waiting. He's going to fest. But when Philly tries to leave the villa, she realizes she isn't free. The gates are higher than she noticed, and the guards' eyes follow her like she's property, not family. Two rough, thuggish guards watch her every move. Raja calls Philly and asks for the address so he can come see her. She sends it, but Philly is already sick of the guard. She pretends to sleep, slips out, and climbs over the back wall. At that exact moment, Raja pulls up. He catches her, rushes her into his car, and drives her somewhere quiet, safe. In a peaceful spot, Raja finally confesses he loves. He promises he'll brighten her life, but he doesn't demand an answer right now. He tells her to take time. After a beautiful day, he brings her back to the villa, and they plan to meet again tomorrow. Philly clings to the sweetness of that day because she needs to believe something good can last. But inside the house, Philly overhears a phone call and her blood turns cold. The man isn't her father. He's her uncle. Worse, he only took her in to sell her human trafficking, organ deal, the darkest kind of business. He doesn't care she's his niece. In that instant, Philly understands why the guards were there. She wasn't. She was trapped. Philly tries to run, but she can't. Meanwhile, Johan gets the investigation results. Philly's father is a criminal uncle, an ex-con still active in trafficking. Johan calls Raja and asks if he's with Philly. Raja says she hasn't shown up yet. Johan tells him the truth. Philly is in danger. Raja races to the villa and calls his brothers, who demand the address so they can help. Raja tries to rescue Philly alone, but he's attacked, knocked out, and tied up beside her. When he wakes, his hands are bound, and the look he gives Philly says he's furious at himself for coming without backup. Just in time, the brothers arrive, fight off the guards, and free them both. They escape in a car, breathing hard, alive. Philly's hands shake the whole ride, and she keeps touching her own face like she can't believe she made it out. Philly returns to Johan's home with the 4 princes. Later, Philly sees her uncle arrested for kidnapping another child, another victim she almost became. The twins comfort her, reminding her safe and she's family. Back at school, the princes become Philly's bodyguard. Raja even rests a hand on her shoulder and it drives Chloe insane. When Shania accidentally trips and spills juice on Raja, she braces for him to explode. But Raja lets it go only because she's Philly's friend. Chloe approaches Philly again, pretending to apologize and begging to be friends. Without waiting for an answer, she insists she wants to help Philly fix things with Raja. Shania cuts in, shuts Chloe down, and pulls Philly away. One quiet night, Philly decides she's ready. She's tired of being pushed around by rumors, fear, and other people's choices. This time, she chooses for herself. She gives Raja her answer she loves too. They become an official couple until Joe and the twins burst in to tease them like always. Philly then tells all 4 princes she asked Johan to pause the adoption. She still believes her real parents might be alive and hopes they'll return one day. But she promises it changes nothing before Raja. They were already family. The brothers hug her tightly. It's clumsy and loud, but it's honest. And for once, Philly feels held instead of judged. But when they get home, Philly freezes. A woman is sitting with Johan, the same woman her uncle planned to sell Philly to that night. Philly recognizes her instantly. Her pulse jumps, because that face isn't just a memory, it's a warning label from the worst night of her. The room suddenly feels smaller, like the mansion walls are closing in the way that Villa did. Johan's posture stays controlled, but his eyes sharpen, and the princes instinctively step close to Philly without even thinking. The woman smiles politely, like she belongs there, like she's a guest invited for tea, not someone tied to a crime. Philly's throat goes dry as she remembers the muffled voice, the guard, the rope, and the cold certainty that nobody was coming. Raja asks, tense and low, who she is, but Johan holds up a hand, signaling him to stay calm. The woman speaks first, using a smooth tone, claiming she only wants to talk and clear up misunderstanding. Philly can't tell if she's lying, bargaining, or hunting for a second chance to control her. Joe watches her carefully, reading every blink, while the twins scan the room like they're searching for eggs. And Philly, who's been brave all season, realizes this isn't just about love or adoption, it's about power, secret, and the past refusing to stay buried. If this woman is here, then someone opened a door they shouldn't have, and Philly might be the key to whatever comes next. Who is she? And what does she want? That, dear viewer, is the cliffhanger for season 2. Because now Philly has to decide who to, while Johan and the princes realize enemies can walk right through the front door. And if the past can find her here, then nowhere is truly safe for her or the boys. It's not me teasing you, this is where the story stops for now. If you enjoyed the recap, hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below. Until next time, stay safe. Goodbye.